Hey, hi, good evening, everyone. As you say, my name is Fabo. I am Giancarlo's husband. I am a little bit nervous, so sorry about that. As you can see, this is my family here. And thank you for inviting me to share my story tonight. It's an honor to stand here among international students, maybe immigrant people, people who, like me, know what it means to leave behind everything familiar and start from zero in a new land. Immigrant stories for me are sacred, not because they are perfect or full of happy endings, but because they hold truth, courage, and transformation. Yeah. They carry the sound of broken goodbyes and new beginnings spoken in a second language. Mm-hmm. I want to begin by asking you to imagine this. You are standing in the place you always call home, where your childhood memories live, where your roots run deep. And then, in one single moment, all that memories just change. So that, for me, that moment came on April 16, 2016 at 6:58 p.m. when a massive earthquake struck Ecuador. So that moment changed everything. My mom, a single mother of four, have to make a choice none of us were prepared for. To stay in a country struggling after the disaster or start over something new. So I have some picture here that I can share with you. All the city was destroyed. So we came to the United States with hope and fear in equal measure. I recognize that I came with privilege, so a tourist visa, while many others have to risk everything, even their lives, for the chance to find safety. But even with that privilege, the truth is that starting a new life means losing another. Mm-hmm. I want to clarify something, that holding a tourist visa doesn't grant the right to work or live legally in this country. It simply made it easy to arrive here. Mm-hmm. When we left, I left behind my home, my family, my culture, my friends, and the sense of belonging that shaped who I am or who I was. It's impossible to pack all that in one suitcase. So you are to try, but it doesn't happen. I came searching not for luxury, but for stability, for the chance to provide for my family and build something new. So when we arrived to Minnesota, we have no idea who awaits us. We knew how to dream big, but not how to dress for winter. So we came from a tropical country, so we have absolutely no idea what cold really means. I can tell you that. So this is one of, that one is my first photo when I arrived here to Minnesota. And I was there with my family in the airport. I will never forget that first winter here. It was harsh, but the people were kind. One day, so the first time that we went out, waiting for the bus, so snow soaked through our sneakers and socks, so our feet were freezing. The cold felt endless. We couldn't bear it anymore, so we ran to the nearest building just to survive. We sat under a vent blowing hot air and warmed our feet, laughing and crying at the same time, trying to understand how people live in this world. Years later, when it was time for my residence interview at the USCIS building in downtown, I walked in the immigration building and I realized it was the same building, just 7 floors above. It was a full circle moment. The same place that once gave me warmth as a newcomer was now where my husband and I will be questioned, interrogated, and examined to see if I was worthy to stay here in the United States. For most people, immigration buildings don't represent warmth or welcome. They represent anxiety, fear, and uncertainty. They represent terror. Inside those walls, decisions are made that change people's lives forever. Decisions of life or death, families together or separated, joy or sorrow. Years later, during my citizenship process, I have to return to the same building, hoping they will approve the removal of my conditional residence and grant my request to become a citizen. I remember leaving that interview heartbroken. It didn't go as expected. It was not kind. It was aggressive and negative. It lasted over an hour and a half, as Giancarlo mentioned it before, 3 times longer than our previous interview. My husband and I were separated for most of it. It didn't end with, we approve your application. So it ended with, I don't know what I'm gonna to decide. We will mail you your response in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So, as you can maybe think, we were very anxious about that moment. So suddenly our entire world, our dreams, our home, our stability to stay in the Twin Cities was up in the air. My husband and I feel fear, but also shame. And we keep asking ourselves, if only we have answered that question better. If only we have explained that bill. If only we have shown more photos. As if our perfection could guarantee our safety. As if checking every box could make us more worthy of belonging. For 2 weeks, we worried, prayed, and leaned in our community for support when the good news finally came, that my citizenship was approved. I felt a deep relief, but it didn't erase the fear and anxiety that so many immigrants endure in that same process. That experience taught me something important. These immigration buildings are what we make them. We decide we can build the world we want. One where immigration offices could be places of warmth and welcome and no fear and hate. Even after years of living here and traveling as a Latino immigrant, it still comes with tension every time I come back to Ecuador and return to the US. Airport officials stop me. So maybe because of my accent, who knows, my skin color, or my last name. These moments remind me that the immigrant journey doesn't end with a passport. We carry our identity everywhere we go, in our faces, in our voices, and our stories. Sometimes that identity opens doors. Other times it makes people suspicious, but I learned to meet that tension with dignity because being an immigrant isn't a weakness, it's a strength. It means you live through changes and loss, and you are still choosing hope. There is also another truth, one that many of us rarely speak out loud because it feels like carrying a secret. Sometimes being undocumented feels like coming out of the closet again, at least for me. It comes with the same fear, the same uncertainty of how people will see you after you say it. When I share that part of my story, some people look at me with pity or condescension, as being undocumented makes you broken or less than. But they don't see the courage it takes to make a life-changing decision, to leave your home, your roots, your history, and still choose to start again. That's no weakness. That's a strength. That is resilience. One of the hardest part of moving here, as well as Uje, was learning a new language. There were times I wanted to say so much to explain what I felt, what I believed, what I needed, but the words just wouldn't come out right, so I stayed silent. And silence can be heavy. You feel invisible, misunderstood, left out. But through patience, empathy, and community, I found my voice again. People listened not just to my English, but to my heart. They gave me time to grow, and thank you for that. And little by little, I learned that the language is not just grammar, it's connection, it's courage. Through all this, my husband Giancarlos and his family have been my anchor. Together, we build a life full of love, resilience, and laughter. Their presence told me that family isn't just about where are you from, it's about who walks beside you as you build your dreams. They became my extended family in this new land, reminding me that love knows no borders. As a gay Latino man, I feel something here that many in my country cannot: safety. I can love openly, walk proudly, and build a community that accepts me for who I am. That too is sacred. Something that I want to mention that maybe many people feel this with me. My heart will always be divided into Ecuador and United States, two cultures, two rhythms, two homes. Ecuador gave me the warmth, joy, and identity, and the US gave me the opportunity, safety, and growth. Between them, I learned that home is not a single place. It's the people who make you feel seen and loved. And I'm gonna finish with this. In times when anti-immigration rhetoric grows louder, I remind myself that fear thrives where connection is missing. When we share our stories, we remind the world that immigrants are not statistics or stereotypes. We are neighbors, co-workers, students, friends, parents, dreamers. We are part of the living fabric of this nation. Our stories are sacred because they hold both pain and promise. Because they remind the world that even after losing everything, people still choose to believe in something better. And maybe that's what makes immigrants some of the bravest people on earth. So to all the immigrants and international students, and everyone who has ever left a piece of their heart in another land, your story matters. Your journey is sacred, and your presence here is a gift. Because no matter where we come from, our stories remind this country that what it truly means to believe, to rebuild, and to belong. Thank you.
I remember being in the USCIS, that office, waiting for an hour